The Great Ruler Episode 118 Explanation. Seeing the chilling smile curl on the face of Mu Feng, the expressions on the faces of Su Xian and the other two grew increasingly ugly. Exchanging glances with one another, spiritual energies proceeded to sweep out from their bodies without the slightest restraint. Whoosh! The trio explosively shot out. After such a long period of tempering within the Great Spiritual Academy tournament, their teamwork and rapport had clearly reached a state of extreme tacit understanding between each other. Although their cultivation was only at the realm of spiritual energy disaster, when they collaborated, their combined might would cause even an expert of first-grade disaster to feel fear and dread. However, the person before them, Mu Feng, wasn't an ordinary person at first-grade spirit disaster, but a genuine expert at second-grade spirit disaster. Such a realm of cultivation was even higher than that Mu Qian had defeated earlier. Therefore, faced against the ferocious attacks coming from the trio, Mu Feng only gave a faint smile, one which contained ridicule and disdain present within. With a furious clench of his hand, a dark red halberd appeared, while his gaze grew even colder. A scarlet-red crescent-shaped glowing pattern appeared to be present on the surface of the halberd, sparkling with heart-palpitating fluctuations. Demonic Moon Halberd, Cleaving Moon. With an indifferent expression on his face, the halberd in Mu Feng's hands abruptly chopped down, only for blood-red rays of brilliance to erupt from it. In the next instant, they formed into a gigantic blood-red crescent moon. As the crescent moon howled downwards, it brought about an incomparable chill as it came down on Su Xian and the other two. As the blood-red crescent moon shot out, a scar was carved into the space it had traveled past. Seeing this incoming crescent moon, the faces of Su Xian and the other two instantly changed. Not daring to show the slightest bit of neglect, they immediately unleashed their most powerful attacks. Phoenix Wing Spiritual Umbrella. With a clench of her hand, a spiritual umbrella that appeared to be constructed from phoenix wings appeared in Su Xian's hand. As spiritual light sparkled from it, the cry of a phoenix rang out. In the next instant, powerful spiritual energy fluctuations radiated from it. Clearly, this was an peerless rank spiritual artifact that possessed outstanding might. Devil Dragon's Blade. At the same time, a large blade constructed from the head of a dragon appeared in He Yao's hands, with dragon scales covering the entirety of its surface. With a loud roar, a gigantic dragon-shaped arched blade explosively shot from it. 100 Beasts Wheel. Rays of brilliance erupted from Yang Lin's hand, before transforming into a malevolent-looking glowing wheel. Spiritual light started to perfuse around the glowing wheel, before transforming into the shape of 100 beasts, with their roars shaking the air around them. The trio clearly had some luck as they had obtained spiritual items that were of quite a high grade. The might they were able to unleash was also extraordinary. At this moment, with their collaboration, they appeared to possess an exceedingly powerful aura. Bang! The fierce attacks smashed together at lightning speed, instantly causing a loud bang to resound across the horizon. Seemingly at the same time, a spiritual energy shockwave that could be seen by the naked eye had also swept out. A mantis trying to stop a chariot. Seeing this, a chilling smile appeared on Mu Feng's face. As his gaze abruptly turned ice-cold, the demonic moon halberd in his hand shot out once again. This time, a bloody light gushed from it, causing blood-red crescent moons to continuously surface from it, before hiding the skies and covering the earth as they howled. Bang! Bang! Faced against the successive battering from the blood-red crescent moons, the attacks of the trio appeared to have instantly collapsed. Although they had the support of their spiritual items, the disparity between them and Mu Feng was too large. This disparity between spiritual energy disaster and second-grade spirit disaster could never be made up by relying on spiritual items. Bang! As their attacks collapsed and failed, a shudder shook through the bodies of the trio as they miserably retreated back as if they had suffered a huge blow. As they did so, a sweet taste appeared in their throats, before blood seeped out from the corners of their mouths. Whoosh! However, without waiting for the trio to suppress the tremors shaking within their bodies, Mu Feng had already appeared behind Su Xian's back akin to a bolt of lightning. Clearly, he was planning to end this fight as quickly as possible. Su Xian, be careful. Seeing this, He Yao's face instantly contorted as he hastily roared. At this moment, the spiritual energy within Su Xian's body was rolling and surging. She had similarly discovered Mu Feng, who had shot towards her. However, with her strength being exhausted, she was completely unable to evade from him. Thus, she could only stare as Mu Feng's fierce palm blade shot over at lightning speed. Bang! However, before the hand blade could land on Su Xian's body, a huge force came barreling over, sending her body flying away. He Yao's body had appeared where Su Xian was a moment ago. In the next instant, Mu Feng's fierce hand blade chopped down towards the former's hand without the slightest bit of mercy shown. Squirt! A jet of blood shot out. A miserable shriek instantly rang out from He Yao's mouth, as his left hand was severed by Mu Feng's palm. His body started to tremble and shake due to the intense pain radiating from his arm, while he unsteadily retreated and staggered in a miserable fashion. Go! Stemming the blood flowing from his arm, He Yao roared towards the blank-looking Su Xian. What a touching scene, said Mu Feng with a grin as blood dripped down from his palm. At this moment, his gaze appeared as cold as the edge of a blade. In the next instant, he shot out once again towards Su Xian. Bastard! With a furious curse, Yang Lin fiercely clenched his teeth. Unable to care much about anything, he rushed straight out, appearing right before Su Xian's body. As spiritual energy howled from him, he sent a fist rumbling straight towards Mu Feng. Seeing this, a ridiculing smile appeared on Mu Feng's face. Without showing any mercy again, he sent a fist rumbling straight towards Yang Lin's fist like a bolt of lightning. Crack! Frightening energy waves gushed out as Yang Lin's arm started to instantly warp and distort. Cracking sounds started to ring out from his bones as he was sent flying akin to having suffered a lightning strike, spewing blood as he went. Seeing the two people who had suffered serious injuries in the blink of an eye just to protect her, Su Xian's eyes started to involuntarily turn red. At the same time when Su Xian, He Yao, and Yang Lin had suffered a complete defeat, the bodies of Shen Sangsheng and Li Xiantong were completely covered in blood. Nevertheless, fierce and vengeful shadows were still present in their eyes. Despite being in such a depressing situation, the two of them did not give up the slightest bit of hope. Circulating the spiritual energies in their bodies to their absolute maximum, they launched attack after attack right towards Ji Xian. Nevertheless, their attacks could only be exchanged for an indifferent palm from Ji Xian, before the two were sent retreating back in a miserable fashion, the blood covering their bodies growing increasingly scarlet red. Such a scene appeared exceedingly tragic and full of despair. At this moment, whooshing sounds endlessly rang out within this region as figures appeared in the distant skies and mountain peaks in a successive fashion, with their eyes all trained towards the huge battle erupting at this location. Clearly, those were the powerful groups that had rushed over due to them being not far away when the fight had occurred. Upon seeing such a seemingly one-sided fight before their eyes, all of them could not help quietly giving a sigh. From the looks of it, this group from the Northern Heaven Spiritual Academy would suffer a complete defeat today. However, despite the size, there was not a single person that had stepped forward to offer assistance to them. Faced against the group that was considered to be the strongest in the current phase of the Great Spiritual Academy tournament, there might not be many who would have the courage to start a confrontation with them. Puff! Blood spewed from the mouths of Shen Sangsheng and Li Xiantong yet again, looking towards Ji Xian, who wore a calm expression and faint smile in his face. The both of them could not help tightly clenching their teeth. They had also sensed the complete defeat at the side of Su Xian and the other two. Yet, the two of them were powerless to do anything about it. At this moment, the eyes of the two had turned blood red, with their pride and arrogance appearing to have been smashed and scattered apart. Originally, the both of them had believed that they had already made great progress in their cultivation. However, who would have guessed that they were still that frail and weak, even to the point of being unable to protect their compatriots? Looks like you two are feeling extremely sorrowful. With a faint smile, Ji Xian said, in fact, if you want to blame someone, you can blame Mu Chen. Everything's due to him. If he had not acted as if he was clever, you all would not have had to endure such humiliation. Ji Xian's words were extremely venomous, appearing to be more so than his actions. Not only did he want to squash Shen Sangsheng and his group beneath his feet, he even wanted to cause them to feel such humiliation, converting this into hatred and transfer it onto Mu Chen. There will always be some disparity between you and Mu Chen. However, faced against such heart-rending words, a smile cracked open for Shen Sangsheng as he spoke out, the blood at the corner of his mouth causing him to appear somewhat malevolent. "What did you say?" Hearing that, Ji Xian's eyes started to gradually turn cold. "You'll forever be alone. There will be no one that will trust you. Even those compatriots of yours will give up on you when you meet with such similar troubles as me." "However, we will never give up on Mu Chen," replied Shen Sangsheng in a ridiculing fashion. "Therefore, you'll never ever be able to match up to Mu Chen. He'll always be stronger than you." "Ha ha." Ji Xian made a soft laugh. Shaking his head, he said, "Who would care about something useless like trust? Your so-called belief is so weak in the face of power and strength that it's really laughable." As Ji Xian's voice rang out, his face had already turned completely cold. He proceeded to speak again. "Therefore, you guys should come to a stop at this point." Whoosh! As the last of his words rang out, his figure had already disappeared like a spectre. Without any prior signaling, Shen Sangsheng and Li Xiantong had already explosively retreated. Nevertheless, at the instant when they did so, a blurry figure had already appeared between their midst. In the next instant, an ice-cold palm shot out towards their throats akin to the talons of an eagle. Bang! Their bodies were heavily pressed against the precipitous mountain cliff behind them. As the rocks behind them shattered apart, blood spewed from them once again, while the spiritual energies radiating from them dropped to their weakest. Right before them, an expressionless Ji Xian stood in the sky, his hands on their throats, causing them to be unable to move even a single inch. On the other side, with a smile on his face, Mu Feng looked towards Su Xian while saying in a soft voice, "Now, is there anyone else that can protect you?" Whoosh! His figure had shot out, heading straight towards Su Xian. Tightly clenching her teeth, Su Xian circulated the spiritual energy within her body to the utmost degree. At this moment, she could only try her best to endure a bout with Mu Feng. Boom! The fierce demonic moon halberd heavily smashed against the spiritual umbrella. As the frightening power came gushing through, Su Xian's body shook as the spiritual umbrella in her hands was sent flying away. Pressing close to Su Xian, Mu Feng looked towards the pretty face just inches away from him, before giving a faint smile brimming with chilling intent. In the next instant, sending a palm patting out, spiritual energy surged from his body, causing the horizon to split apart. "This ends here." As Mu Feng's chilling voice rang out, Su Xian closed her eyes in despair. Rumble. However, at the instant before Mu Feng's palm was about to land on Su Xian's chest, erratic claps of thunder suddenly resounded across the entire region, causing Mu Feng's face to furiously contort. A black bolt of lightning split the horizon apart at an indescribable speed. Under the countless astonished gazes shooting from this region, it violently smashed against Mu Feng's body. Bang! Mu Feng's body instantly shot away, smashing straight into the ground. As he landed on the earth, the area around him collapsed and caved in, while gigantic fissures extended like a spider web. After smashing Mu Feng away, the bolt of black lightning didn't come to a stop. With a shift, it rushed straight out, while a fist sparkling with lightning mercilessly rumbled out, immediately heavily smash against Mu Feng's chest, who was now unable to even evade or dodge. Puff! Mu Feng's eyes rapidly sprung wide open as he spewed a mouthful of blood. As he did so, the ground beneath him caved in once more. A roar rang from him as he attempted to struggle out of his predicament. However, a palm sparkling with lightning immediately clasped over his throat, causing his struggling to abruptly freeze. The black lightning before his eyes started to slowly dissipate away, before a thin figure finally appeared before everyone's eyes. Present on the figure was a handsome face, merely that an extremely malevolent expression covered in murderous aura had covered its entirety. Mu Chen! Cries of shock and astonishment instantly resounded across the entire region. Not far away, the gaze of Ji Xian, who had already defeated Shen Sangsheng and Li Xiantong, had also slightly changed. Slowly panning his head across, he looked towards the familiar-looking lightning-clad figure, before a smile started to curl from the corner of his mouth. "You've finally arrived, Mu Chen." In this vast region, figures were faintly discernible at the edges of the distant sky as they continued to hide the sky and cover the earth as they shot over. As of now, it was clear that this region had already become the most prominent place within the entire Great Spiritual Academy tournament. Various powerful groups were now standing in the air, with all of their gazes focused towards the stretch of area before them. To be precise, they were all trained towards the thin figure clad in black lightning bolts. They were able to clearly sense the dense killing intent radiating from the figure. Such killing intent appeared to have caused the temperature of the entire region to drop by quite a bit. That was Mu Chen. He has finally arrived, whispers quietly rang out as the gazes from everyone in the region converged. If he had arrived just a bit later, that Northern Heaven Spiritual Academy group would have been completely wiped out. Ji Xian and his group are truly vicious in their actions. From the looks of it, there won't be an easy conclusion to this matter. Ji Xian's not easy to be dealt with. Although that Mu Chen's fame and reputation has been skyrocketing recently, can he really match up to Ji Xian? His cultivation seems to only be at spiritual energy disaster. Whispering noises incessantly continued to ring out while everyone's gazes had converged on the two main characters present within the region. Anyone would be able to sense that an intense fight that would shock everyone present would erupt in this region today. Under the attentive gazes of everyone, Mu Chen had a hand wrapped around Mu Feng's throat while standing within the caved-in ground present below, appearing just like a prey within the talons of an eagle. Furthermore, the killing intent radiating from his body informed everyone that if he were to unleash a killing blow, he would absolutely show no mercy nor remorse. Being within Mu Chen's grasp, Mu Feng's face had already turned ashen, with the blood dripping from the corner of his mouth causing him to look somewhat miserable. A venomous and unwilling gaze shot from him towards Mu Chen. Due to the latter taking such quick action, he was unable to muster any defenses, causing him to become instantly suppressed by the latter. He absolutely didn't believe that Mu Chen would be able to suppress him in a head-on confrontation. Su Xian was staring at the figure standing not too far away from her. It had been more than half a year since she had seen him, yet he appeared to have not changed much, merely that his originally handsome and gentle face had appeared somewhat more healthy and robust. Perhaps, due to the vast killing intent radiating from his body, he appeared exceedingly sharp and incisive, just like an extraordinary divine spear standing tall within the heavens and earth. Wiping away the blood stain at the corner of her mouth, Su Xian's originally tense heart started to slowly calm down. The youth before her appeared to cause people to have boundless confidence in him, causing them to feel calm and steady in his presence. Panning his head over, Mu Chen looked towards Su Xian. As his malevolent gaze started to turn gentle, he said, "Senior Sister Su Xian, are you all right?" Hearing that, Su Xian shook her head. Turning her head to look towards He Yao and Yang Lin, her eyes turned reddish as she said, "But they are seriously injured." Having his hand chopped off by Mu Feng earlier, blood continued to flow out from He Yao's severed stump. At this moment, Yang Lin was completely covered in blood, giving off an exceedingly miserable appearance. Nevertheless, upon seeing Mu Chen's appearance, the both of them heaved a great breath of relief. Hearing her reply, Mu Chen apologetically nodded his head towards them. Squirming his body, He Yao leaned against a rock. Sending a smile with much difficulty towards Mu Chen, he asked, "How confident are you?" What he meant was naturally about how confident Mu Chen was to deal with the situation before them. After all, he was extremely clear about exactly how tyrannically strong Ji Xian's group was. "With me here, they'll not be able to hurt you all," replied Mu Chen in a soft voice. "I'll leave it to you, then," He Yao slowly replied with a nod as he looked towards the exceedingly dazzling youth before his eyes. Slightly nodding, Mu Chen proceeded to raise his head up. At this moment, his gaze turned emotionless and indifferent as he looked towards the figure present not far away from him. The figure standing over there had also casted his gaze over at the same time. As their eyes interlocked, the ice-cold killing intent gushing from within appeared to have caused even the air to start freezing. "You've finally arrived, Mu Chen," said Ji Xian in a soft voice, with his hand similarly tightly grabbing onto the throats of Shen Sangsheng and Li Xiantong. "I came here to see what great show you've prepared for me." "Would it be even more spectacular than last time?" replied Mu Chen with a faint smile. Hearing that, Ji Xian started smiling as he said, "It shouldn't leave you disappointed." "I very much anticipate it," replied Mu Chen slowly. "Release Mu Feng." Fierce cries rang out across the sky as the three remaining members of the Saint Spiritual Academy group darkly stared at Mu Chen. Powerful spiritual energies gushed from their bodies as they covetously stared at Mu Chen. The cultivation realm of all three of them was at first-grade spirit disaster. Although they were inferior to Mu Feng, they were absolutely not weak. Despite this, Mu Chen appeared to have completely ignored the roars coming from them. HMPH. Seeing this, the eyes of the trio turned ice-cold. Exchanging glances with one another, they each sent a palm patting out seemingly at the same instant. Boundless spiritual energies swept from them, transforming into spiritual energy palm prints that started to press down towards Mu Chen. Despite this, Mu Chen appeared to have not moved even an inch. Swish! However, just as those spiritual energy palm prints were about to descend, a sharp sword cry suddenly rang from across the sky, before three gigantic sword arcs explosively shot over. Puff! As the sword lights howled over, they instantly sliced the three spiritual energy palm prints into two, causing them to transform into glowing dots that blotted the skies. Whoosh! Countless gazes shot towards the direction where those sword arcs had come from, only to see two glowing figures rushing over at a speed akin to chasing the moon and stars. Finally, two exquisite and beautiful figures appeared right by Mu Chen's side. The two girls appeared graceful and elegant, while possessing flawlessly beautiful appearances. Nevertheless, they caused people to feel shock and astonishment, with even the somewhat frozen atmosphere in this region appearing to possess some luster upon their appearance. Seemingly all of the eyes had involuntarily shot over and converged onto them. That's Wen Qingxian. The other girl, she's called Luo Li, right? I know her. She's the Queen Luo of the Spiritual Road. At the end of the Spiritual Road, she had even caused Ji Xian to suffer serious injuries. From the looks of it, they appear to be Mu Chen's helpers. These two girls are definitely not simple. If they were to genuinely take action, even Ji Xian wouldn't dare to proclaim to have absolute confidence in victory. That's why Mu Chen dared to appear here. The appearance of the two girls had instantly caused even greater exclamations. Compared to Mu Chen and Ji Xian, they were even more attractive for their attention. Flanking beside Mu Chen, Luo Li and Wen Qingxian shot a look at the former. Turning their gazes to the front, they rested their eyes on Ji Xian, who was standing not too far away from them. With her not having much previous contact with Ji Xian, Wen Qingxian was not brimming with interest as she proceeded to size up the former. Being the archenemy of Mu Chen, as well as the guy who had snatched first place from her, Wen Qingxian was exceedingly curious as to who this Ji Xian was. Compared to Wen Qingxian, a calm and tranquil expression was present on Luo Li's face. Her pair of clear glass-like pupils shot a quiet look at Ji Xian, with not a single fluctuation present within that tranquil gaze of hers. With Luo Li's appearance, Ji Xian's gaze had immediately converged to her. Nevertheless, though, the calm and tranquil beautiful eyes of the latter caused the corner of his mouth to involuntarily twitch. It has been a while, Luo Li. Suppressing the pounding within his heart, Ji Xian said in a slow manner. Resting her beautiful eyes once more on Ji Xian, Luo Li replied in a soft voice, "Do you still remember what I've said to you at the end of the spiritual road?" Hearing that, Ji Xian's pupils slightly narrowed, while his expression gradually turned fierce. That was a scene that he would never, ever forget. By forsaking everything, the girl dressed in black had caused him and her to become mutually wounded. Furthermore, at the very last moment, the girl did not pay any other kind of attention other than to hurt him. With a calm voice, she had told him that his life was Mu Chen's to claim. That's why she didn't kill him. I believe that he will make you disappointed. A dark shadow was present in Ji Xian's eyes as he stared at Mu Chen, while the hands gripping the throats of Shen Sangsheng and Li Xiantong started to grow uncontrollably tighter. Hearing that, a faint smile that caused the hearts and souls of the people to stir started to surface on her absolutely stunning face. With a gentle tone, she replied, "You'll be disappointed, as he's stronger than you." Not one bit of ridicule was present in her gentle voice. Yet, that soft and light tone caused the usually calm Ji Xian to uncontrollably shiver, while a deep shade of darkness was present on his handsome face. At this moment, greenish veins even started to slowly surface on his arms. Astonishment was present on the faces of Ji Xian's three group members as they set their gazes on the current Ji Xian. This truly was the first time that they had seen the usually emotionless Ji Xian show so much emotional fluctuations. Every single gaze within this entire region moved around the trio of Mu Chen, Luo Li, and Ji Xian. As if being able to discern something that had happened between them, the faces of everyone present started to turn somewhat strange. "Oh really? I'm really looking forward to it." Ji Xian gave his reply. Taking a deep breath, Ji Xian suppressed the anger and fury within his heart, before turning his dark and sinister gaze towards Mu Chen. With a smile he said, "What do you have that's stronger than me? Is it your spiritual energy disaster realm, or is it your strength?" Hearing that, Mu Chen gave a laugh. Shaking Mu Feng that he had grasped within his hand, he replied, "Let's release the people in our hands. I don't assume that you would be that childish to resort to threats like this, right?" At this moment, Ji Xian had also laughed, however, it was one that didn't contain the slightest warmth at all. With a wave of his palm, he tossed Shen Xiangsheng and Li Xiantong away. With a calm expression, Mu Chen tossed Mu Feng away, sending the latter flying against a mountainous rock, smashing it into bits. Miserably crawling out from the mountainous rock, an ashen expression was present on Mu Feng's face as he stared at Mu Chen. Nevertheless, though, he did not dare to recklessly take action against the latter. Seeing Shen Xiangsheng and Li Xiantong being thrown away, Mu Chen hastily went forward to assist them. The current appearance of the duo, being entirely covered with blood, caused them to appear exceedingly miserable. An expression brimming of apology and regret was present within Mu Chen's eyes as he looked towards the duo. "There's no need to say any unnecessary words. I'll leave the rest to you. That bastard's very strong. If you don't have assurance, we'll just flee as quick as we can. Better have more chances than to lose lives." Words rang from a crack of Shen Xiangsheng's mouth as he patted Mu Chen's shoulder. Hearing that, Mu Chen gave a laugh, before nodding his head. Whoosh! Whoosh! The whooshing sounds within the region grew louder and louder. Looking over, the entire mountain range and plains around were filled with figures. With seemingly all of the powerful groups that have participated in the Great Spiritual Academy tournament being attracted towards this location. With an indifferent expression on his face, Ji Xian cleaned away the bloodstains present on his palms. Raising his head, he took a look at the figures that covered the surrounding mountain range and plains, before giving a soft clap. The Mu Chen elimination operation begins. Within this vast region, numerous figures were present, blotting the skies and covering the land. However, these figures were split far away from each other as they stood in the air, appearing to be vigilant and cautious about each other. The black sea of humans stood in the air, extending into the distance, with clear layers of separation between them. Due to the enormous crowd, the spiritual energies radiating from their bodies dyed the entire region in a rainbow shade, causing an especially gorgeous and magnificent scene to appear before people's eyes. At this moment, gazes shooting from all across the sky were locked onto the vast stretch of area before them, where two groups of people were in confrontation against each other. As of now, the group led by Ji Xian was, without a doubt, the strongest group amongst all of those that were present here. Furthermore, the most important thing was that Ji Xian's strength was deep, unfathomable and hard to grasp. Seemingly since the start of the Great Spiritual Academy tournament till now, Ji Xian had yet to experience a single defeat. Faced against any opponent, he would always sweep them over as if he was brushing away dried twigs, appearing to be seemingly invincible. Faced against a monstrous talent like him, there might not be anyone within the entire Great Spiritual Academy tournament that would not have fear and dread towards him. However, although Ji Xian's strong and powerful, Mu Chen and his group weren't any run-of-the-mill characters, either. Without mentioning about the second-placed Wen Qingxian and just talking about Mu Chen, his fame and reputation had recently skyrocketed, appearing just like a black horse that no one could underestimate. As for Luo Li, she had always kept a low profile. Nevertheless, everyone who had an understanding of her would know that she was a girl whose appearance and temperament was not one bit inferior to Wen Qingxian. Other than that, she also possessed a rather frightening level of strength. The triangle formed by the trio possessed a level of might that would be absolutely more than sufficient to cause people to smack their lips. Therefore, when these two groups of people were to undergo a head-on confrontation, there would be a great deal of people who would want to know exactly which group would be able to gain an advantage. Therefore, upon seeing Ji Xian waving his hand down with indifference, the expression of everyone present in the entire region tensed up, with their bodies slowly following suit. With his hand hanging by his side, a calm and tranquil expression continued to be present on his handsome face. Aside from him, Wen Qingxian and Luo Li had gradually started to clench the war spear and longsword respectively in their hands. The Mu Chen Eliminate operation. Just from the words alone, one could tell that it was specifically crafted to target Mu Chen. Hum. Hum. Gales blew across the air, bringing along humming sounds. Although all of the powerful groups within the Great Spiritual Academy tournament had gathered over here, the entire region appeared so silent that one could hear the sounds of the wind blowing. Ha ha! What a really lively place! The atmosphere within the region, which had appeared to have frozen over, did not continue for long, as a clear and refreshing laughter suddenly rang out, shattering the ice apart. Whoosh! Everyone's gazes seemingly turned over in an instant, caused their eyes to look towards a mountain peak in the far distance. As spiritual light flashed at that place, multiple figures slowly surfaced from within. Standing right in front of the group of figures was a youth dressed in green robes. As the long hair flowed from the head of the youth, he gave off an exceedingly confident and natural appearance. As people looked over, the rampant winds blowing across the region suddenly turned even more fierce and hurried. Unexpectedly, the rampant winds that blotted the sky started to converge towards his location, before transforming into a howling tornado. That's... People's eyes proceeded to look towards the chest of the green-robed youth, where a green-colored academy insignia was present. A vast, endless dark green universe was present there, indicative of academy insignia of one of the 5 great academies, the Azure Heaven Spiritual Academy. That's the Azure Heaven Spiritual Academy's Liu Qingyun. It's actually the 4th place Liu Qingyun. So it turns out that Ji Xian has secretly invited him over. Following the appearance of those figures, waves of uproar instantly erupted across the entire region. Among the entire Great Spiritual Academy tournament, Liu Qingyun was similarly an expert at the very peak. Currently placing 4th on the point rankings was more than sufficient to show his strength and power. Such a person possessed similar qualifications to contend for hegemony. However, who would have guessed that Ji Xian was able to invite him over? Liu Qingyun. Shooting a slightly cold gaze towards the figure with her beautiful eyes, Wen Qingxian said in a cold voice, "Looks like you want to interfere in today's matter, huh?" Sweeping his gaze over, Liu Qingyun sent a faint smile towards Wen Qingxian, before replying, "Qingxian, Mu Chen had gone somewhat overboard in this matter. Therefore, you can't blame me. I'm not familiar with you, so you better not call me like that. If not, don't blame me for being discourteous," said Wen Qingxian in an indifferent tone as her beautiful eyes slightly drooped down. "In any case, we've collaborated before," Liu Qingyun replied with a frown. Proceeding to shoot a look towards Mu Chen, an ambiguous shade flashed across his face, before saying, "Furthermore, it's extremely rare for me to see you walk so close to somebody." Hearing that, a sparkle flashed within Mu Chen's eyes. Shooting a look towards Wen Qingxian, he gave a helpless laugh, before saying in a teasing fashion, "I finally understand what a femme fatale is." Clearly, Liu Qingyun had known Wen Qingxian before. Furthermore, from his tone of his voice, one would be hard-pressed to not discover the fancy that was obviously present towards the latter. Perhaps, a large reason for him accepting Ji Xian's request to take action to deal with Mu Chen might stem from his envy and jealousy. After all, he had some understanding towards Wen Qingxuan's temperament, knowing that the latter would absolutely not have any close contact with males. Even during the previous time where they needed to collaborate, she had only done her part, before immediately leaving once her goal was accomplished, not giving Liu Qingyun any chance to strike the metal when it's hot. Therefore, this was the first time Liu Qingyun had seen Wen Qingxian collaborating with a male for so long, and would even not hesitate to go against a thorny character like Ji Xian for his sake. "Mu Chen, if you dare to speak any more nonsense, do you believe that I will not trample you to death?" Wen Qingxuan's willowy eyebrows immediately turned slightly vertical. Staring right at Mu Chen, she proceeded to clench her teeth and growled. Hearing that, Mu Chen immediately laughed. With Liu Qingyun added in, "This isn't good news for us," said Luo Li in a soft voice as she looked towards Mu Chen. The people they had defeated earlier, like Lu Tian and Wu Jiang, were not a match for this Liu Qingyun. The latter was like them, coming from one of the 5 great academies, and was even a genius from the Wind Spirit clan. He was extremely strong, be it his talent or his background. If he wanted to help Ji Xian, this would create quite a bit of pressure for Mu Chen and his group. Hearing that, Mu Chen nodded his head and replied, "Furthermore, I'm afraid that Ji Xian still has more in store for us." Ji Xian stood in the air not far away, calm and tranquil gaze still present within his eyes as he looked towards Mu Chen. Without any ripples of shock or astonishment present on his face, he raised his hand once more, before giving a gentle wave down. "Brother Fang Yun, please reveal yourself." As Ji Xian's indifferent-sounding voice rang out, a chill seemed to have blown across the expressions of quite a few people. Fang Yun? Could it be that 9 Cauldron Spiritual Academy's Fang Yun, who's currently the 6th place on the point rankings? Cough. Looks like this can be considered as the most spectacular confrontation within the entirety of the Great Spiritual Academy tournament before the final match. Therefore, it would be extremely regretful if I'm absent at here. As Ji Xian's voice rang out, a laughter rang out. Everyone's sight converged over, only to see the sea of humans suddenly part there, before multiple figures slowly walked out from within. The person standing in the lead was dressed in white robes while having a delicate and effeminate appearance. His hair had an ash-grey color to it, while his pair of eyes appeared exceedingly radiant. At this moment, a faint smile was present on his face as he looked over to the stretch of land before him, where the seas of humans had converged to. An academy insignia was similarly present on his chest, with the image of 9 cauldrons present on it. That was the mark of the 9 Cauldron Spiritual Academy. 100 years ago, the 9 Cauldron Spiritual Academy was once a member of the 5 great academies. Falling into decline thereafter, it had resulted in them losing the title of being one of the 5 great academies. Nevertheless, though, the 9 Cauldron Spiritual Academy similarly possessed exceedingly astonishing might. The group they had sent to participate in the Great Spiritual Academy tournament and being about to obtain the 6th place on the point rankings were more than sufficient to confirm that fact. Not surprisingly, Fang Yun's appearance had caused waves of clamoring to erupt, with shock and astonishment appearing in the gazes of quite a few people. The people that Ji Xian had invited over were all peak-level characters that possessed the qualifications to contend for the 8 quotas present for the final match. From the looks of it, Ji Xian truly had came prepared. He truly wanted to completely destroy Mu Chen and his group. Gazes that blotted the sky all converged onto Mu Chen, with ambiguous expressions present within their eyes. At this moment, no one really knew if the latter would be able to make a proper retreat under such a lineup prepared by Ji Xian. "Mu Chen, are you satisfied in the show I've prepared just for you?" said Ji Xian with a faint smile as he looked towards Mu Chen. "If you're not satisfied." As his voice rang out, he extended his slender palms and gave a gentle clap. Seeing that action, the eyelids of the crowd around could not help rapidly twitching, while shock overwhelmed their hearts. Could it be that this hasn't come to an end? Whoosh! As Ji Xian's clap rang out, a blood-red shade suddenly swept across from the distant horizon. Appearing as blood-red akin to a river of blood, it swept across the horizon, before rushing towards the region populated by the attentive gazes of countless experts. Seeing the river of blood, Mu Chen's eyes instantly, slightly narrowed, while chilling intent gushed from the beautiful eyes of Luo Li standing beside him. As the river of blood dissipated away, multiple figures appeared in a flash from within. Those figures were dressed in blood-red robes, with a familiar-looking face located in their midst. That was precisely the person that had escaped from the Divine Wood Palace after being injured by Mu Chen, Xue Qiando. At this moment, Xue Qiando was sending a dark and sinister gaze towards Mu Chen. Nevertheless, though, he clearly wasn't the main character there, as a youth with blood-red hair stood right before him. This youth also wore a set of blood-red robes. Sweeping his red, malevolent eyes over, he finally rested his gaze onto Luo Li's body, before saying with a faint smile, "It truly has been a long time, Luo Li." Tightly clenching her Luotian sword, Luo Li's clear and beautiful eyes were brimming with chilling intent. As her red lips slightly parted, a clear and cold voice rang out from within, "Xue Qinhe, I never imagined that even you, the third prince of the Blood God clan would come over here. For you, the future empress of the Luo God clan, it won't be overboard for any of our Blood God clan to come over, replied the youth by the name of Shuetianhe with a smile. Within the entire region, quite a few gazes fluctuated between shock and doubt as they looked towards this Shuetianhe. Although this name had yet to appear in the top 16, anyone would be able to sense the pressure brought about by him, which was not the slightest bit weaker than Liu Qingyun or Fang Yun. All three of these figures were of the heavyweight class. For the sake of dealing with Mu Chen, Ji Xian had truly done his homework. All of the people that he had called out to absolutely possessed the qualifications to contend for the final match quotas. They were the true figures at the peak of the Great Spiritual Academy tournament. Mu Chen. A warm and gentle smile surfaced once again on Ji Xian's handsome face. Looking towards Mu Chen and his group, who were surrounded on all sides, he said in a slow manner, "You satisfied with my preparations?" Gazes blotting the skies all shot towards Mu Chen. Faced against such a frightening lineup, even formidable characters like Mu Chen, Luo Li, and Wen Qingxian should feel extreme pressure. This wasn't a good situation to break. The cards that Ji Xian had brought out all possessed extreme might. Faced against this situation, what would Mu Chen do? Under the countless attentive gazes shooting over, Mu Chen slowly raised his head. At this moment, there curiously wasn't much shock or fear present on his handsome face. On the contrary, a faint smile had surfaced on it, before his soft voice rang out. "Are you done already?" Despite not sounding deep, when this voice entered the ears of the masses, it caused their hearts to violently shudder. "Are you done?" As Mu Chen's voice softly rang out, the clamoring originally present within the entire region turned silent once again, with quite a few people looking in shock and astonishment at Mu Chen. That's because they were unable to see much of any shock or fear present on the latter's face. This made everyone feel stupefied. Could it be that Mu Chen still not clear about the current situation he was in? Faced against a lineup with the likes of Ji Xian, Liu Qingyun, Fang Yun, as well as that Shuetianhe and their groups, even with Mu Chen, Luo Li, and Wen Qingxian, they shouldn't be able to contend against them, right? There's no one present here that would underestimate the might the trio of Mu Chen, Luo Li, and Wen Qingxian possessed. However, this could also be absolutely said towards the lineup the trio was up against. Each of the people Ji Xian had invited over were heavyweight figures, and this wasn't a joke. However, even in such a spot, there was still not a change of expression on Mu Chen's face. What does this mean? Is he truly clueless about his current situation, or does he possess something that can make him so confident in facing such a lineup? If it was the latter, it was inevitable for some people finding it hard to believe. After giving some thought about it, the gazes of some people started to faint sparkle. Being able to cause a monstrous talent like Ji Xian to have so much fear and dread of him, it was clearly that Mu Chen wasn't an ignorant person. Since Mu Chen wasn't having any fear or dread due to ignorance, there's only one explanation that fits the picture, which was that he had made a similar form of preparation, too. Such a thought caused the hearts of quite a few people to slightly tremble, while a weird shadow appeared within the gazes that had focused on the exceedingly calm youth before their eyes. Naturally, they weren't the only ones that were in shock and doubt. Even the heavyweight characters like Liu Qingyun, Shuetianhe, and Fang Yun slightly narrowed their eyes in response, a sparkling glint present within their eyes as they rested their sights on Mu Chen's body. "Looks like you've long expected my preparations." Ji Xian's eyes had similarly contracted. Looking towards Mu Chen, he said with a faint smile. "Being opponents for so many years, how would I not understand these methods of yours?" replied Mu Chen with a faint smile as he looked straight back at Ji Xian. "Oh." Hearing that, Ji Xian's eyebrows twitched, before saying with a smile, "Since it's the case, I really want to see what kind of preparation you can make. It isn't some shocking preparation, merely that there are many experts present in this great spiritual academy tournament. Since you're able to invite heavyweight figures, how can I not do anything in this regard?" replied Mu Chen with a smile. As his voice rang out, Mu Chen turned around. Looking towards the sea of humans that had extended endlessly across the horizon, he said with a clear voice and a smile, "Please show yourselves, Brother Wu Ling, Brother Wen." As Mu Chen's voice rang out, the entire region turned silent, before a slightly helpless-sounding voice slowly rang out from within the sea of humans. Mu Chen, this collaboration of yours really is a little spicy. As the voice slowly cracked apart from the sea of humans, a group of figures slowly walked out. The figure in the lead was a youth with a delicate and effeminate appearance. He was impressively Wu Ling from the Martial Spiritual Academy. Wu Yingying stood quietly behind him, her pair of beautiful eyes trained on Mu Chen standing not far away from him as she muttered, "Really what a worrisome fellow." Standing right beside Wu Ling was yet another youth, one who had an incomparably ordinary appearance, and appearing unassuming in any aspect. At this moment, a harmless-looking smile was present on his face. A hand was revealed from one of his sleeves, appearing especially abnormal, as an exceedingly white luster was radiating from it. This caused it to appear as if it was made of gemstones, causing people to have a feeling of being unable to pull their gazes away. That's the current third place in the point rankings, the Martial Spiritual Academy's Wu Ling. There's also Wen Bushen, the group currently in 8th place. It seems that they have been at those rankings for a very long time. Although they have yet to rise up, they have yet to drop below the 8th place. Indeed, Mu Chen had made preparations for this, to actually invite 2 heavyweight figures of his own. Upon the appearance of Wu Ling and Wen Bushen, waves of clamoring instantly erupted across the entire region, while quite a few people sighed in admiration within their hearts. From the looks of it, this entire matter had truly turned interesting. Both parties had unleashed their remarkable abilities and invited heavyweight figures out. The lineup for both sides might be considered as the strongest within the entire Great Spiritual Academy tournament. The few groups that were invited over had the greatest possibility to become the groups that would qualify for the final match. Looking towards Wu Ling and Wen Bushen, Mu Chen cupped his hands in gratitude towards them. During those few days of hunting, not only did he pluck out the fangs and claws of Ji Xian, he had similarly sought out allies that could collaborate with him. After all, being all too familiar with Ji Xian, if the latter wanted to deal with his group without any restraint, he would definitely pull other heavyweight groups to his side. Therefore, he similarly needed to make some preparations of his own. From the looks of the current situation, Ji Xian had pulled Liu Qingyun, Fang Yun and Shui Tianhe, while Mu Chen had Wen Qingxian, Luo Li, Wu Ling, as well as Wen Bushen. With Mu Chen himself added in, the latter's lineup could be termed as perfect. The lineups on both sides were absolutely the best of the best within the Great Spiritual Academy tournament. The scene right before their eyes had caused the blood within quite a few people to show signs of surging and boiling. This upped the beat for the final match. I never expect that you would actually team up with Mu Chen, Wu Ling. A chill suffused through Ji Xian's eyes as he rested his gaze onto Wu Ling. Indeed, he had not expected that the latter would actually come together with Mu Chen. After all, Mu Chen's relationship with Wu Ling while on the spiritual road couldn't be considered to be close. Don't look at me like that. I'm also just here to even the field. A smile surfaced on Wu Ling's effeminate face as he gave his reply. Turning around and looking at Wu Yingying standing beside him, his mouth slightly twitched in helplessness. Although he admired Mu Chen, he did not have any plan to enter the war between the latter and Ji Xian when the latter had sought him out. It was merely due to him being unable to endure Wu Yingying's nagging that he finally conceded and accepted to help. You short-sighted. Don't you know what kind of person Ji Xian is? That fellow has extremely big ambitions. If he manages to deal with Mu Chen, we might not be able to escape from his future plans. For the sake of clinching the championship, that fellow would sweep anyone that obstructs his path with no mercy at all. Seeing Wu Ling's expression, Wu Yingying could not help coldly snorting out. Are these really the only reasons? Asked Wu Ling in a teasing manner. What else are you thinking about? Wu Yingying growled, her willowy eyebrows turning slightly vertical as a pinkish shade flashed across her fair complexion. Nevertheless, she still opened her bright and beautiful eyes to shoot a fierce glare towards Wu Ling. Hearing her growls, Wu Ling gave a dry cough. He was completely helpless against this crafty and unruly younger sister of his. Thus, the only choice he could do was to turn towards Ji Xian, before saying with a smile, Ji Xian, you've really blown the matter up. From what I can see, if our 2 lineups were to really duke it out, I believe that both parties would pay quite a high price. To pay this price, there's a very high possibility that there will be some people that would lose the qualifications to get promoted into the final match. As Wu Ling's clear voice rang out across the sky, it immediately caused the eyes of the heavyweight helpers invited by both parties to sparkle. After all of them were clear that both sides were absolutely not easy to deal with. If they were to really duke it out, they might have to pay an extremely high price as a result. Regardless of Ji Xian or Mu Chen, such a price was clearly not too worthwhile. Due to the grudges and grievances between the two, they could call for help and reinforcements, but they would not go so far as to throw their lives for the two's cause. Slightly narrowing his eyes to look at Wu Ling, Ji Xian proceeded to shoot a look at Mu Chen, before saying with a faint smile, "Do you have any good suggestions, Captain Wu Ling?" Everyone takes a step back, pack up and go home, before really duking it out in the final match, replied Wu Ling with a grin. As his words rang out, quite a few groups instantly gawked. Could it be that the astonishing lineups from both sides would just pack up and retreat like that? Is this a joke? Did they gather their heavyweight allies over just to be dazzling eye candy? Hearing that, Mu Chen only gave a faint smile, declining to give any comment to it. Ji Xian similarly gave only a smile in response. Sweeping his gaze over, he finally rested his eyes on Mu Chen before saying, "I also believe that it isn't worthwhile to start the final match here. However, since everyone's here, there's still things that are needed to be done. Mu Chen, since today's matter is started with the two of us, how makes us concluding it sound for you?" As those words from Ji Xian rang out, it caused the hearts of quite a few people to instantly shudder. With the relatively similar lineup between the two, it wasn't likely for a group battle to erupt. Furthermore, the lineup brought together by Ji Xian was already unable to provide much threat to Mu Chen. Since it was the case, the only thing he could do was to toss away his helpers and personally grace the stage. However, such a scene still needed to be constructed by Ji Xian. The majority of the reason why he had feared and dread in Mu Chen was due to Luo Li and Wen Qingxian. However, from the looks of it, that fear and dread had been suppressed in the current situation. After all, if Luo Li and Wen Qingxian still wanted to help Mu Chen take action at this moment, the few heavyweight helpers that Ji Xian had invited over would not stand back and watch without taking action. A chilling glint had glazed over Luo Li's beautiful eyes, due to her clear understanding Ji Xian's plan. So it turns out that this fellow's plan all along has been to force Mu Chen into a duel with him. From a certain perspective, the current Ji Xian was indeed extremely powerful. Although she knew that a fight would definitely happen between Mu Chen and Ji Xian, she did not wish for this to happen now, as Mu Chen's cultivation has yet to truly reach the realm of spirit disaster. As of now, if Mu Chen crossed hands with Ji Xian, it wouldn't be advantageous for him. This was something that Ji Xian was clear about. Therefore, he had unleashed all of these schemes to force Mu Chen to take action. That way, he would be able to force Mu Chen to completely fluster up, resulting in the loss of his most thorny opponent. Chilling covered Luo Li's beautiful face. In the next instant, tightly grasping her Luo God sword, she took a step forward. Nevertheless, she was stopped by Mu Chen, who had extended his hand to obstruct her. Slightly shaking his head towards her, the youth proceeded to raise his head to look towards Ji Xian. An incisive smile started to surface on his handsome face, before he slowly nodded his head under the countless attentive gazes shooting over. Let's do as you wish. This episode end here. Thanks you for watching.